Hi, I'm Zena Awesome. This is for people who want to know more about my digestive challenges and journey. I've always was overweight. I've since I was a kid. I mean, I wasn't grossly overweight, but it was always a challenge. And in high school, I started drinking diet soda and eating salads when everyone else was still eating the burgers and French fries. And even when I went in the military, we were supposed to watch everybody and make sure everybody was eating 3 meals a day. And when I went into the chow hall to eat, I would tell people at breakfast that if I had eaten breakfast, I would probably gain weight during basic training. So my 6 weeks of basic training in the Air Force, I didn't eat breakfast, and I did lose a few pounds, but it was, if I'd eaten breakfast, I'm sure I would have gained weight. So I was doing great in the military most of the time when I had a bicycle at the beginning that got me a lot of exercise, and I was able to keep the weight down. But when I bought a car, I started having weight problems. I was on the weight control program 3 times while I was in the Air Force, and each time it lasts for years. It's a lot of stress. So when I got out of the Air Force, I decided that I wasn't going to worry about it. I was just going to eat and enjoy life, and that would be it. And I did that for quite a while. I got up to over 200 pounds, and my husband in the late 90s got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and we're both veterans, so we went through the weight loss programs that the VA offered, and we really didn't have any success. We tried a few different things. We knew that, hey, we knew that whatever we did, that it wasn't going to be a diet, that it had to be a change in lifestyle, change in life plan, and we tried a lot of different things, and they didn't work. We were pretty active. We worked on a farm. We'd go to the swap meet on the weekends. You know, you got to load things, unload things. I carried around 50-pound bags of feed. We had zebra finches that used 50-pound bags of feed, so I was often moving 50-pound bags of feed around, and we were pretty active. But my husband was having a hard time keeping his diabetes under control, and now we're hitting that he's had it for over 10 years, and that's a long time not to have it under control. His blood sugar was usually around 250, and we could see that it was affecting his health, because on a farm you get little nicks and scrapes, and those nicks and scrapes just weren't healing like they should. So in 2009, we decided that we would both get bariatric surgery. And the VA is very thorough. Lots and lots and lots of hoops to jump through. And we finally jumped through all the hoops. I successfully got his A1C down, which they did not tell us until we were doing our surgery appointment. And they told me it would take over 6 months to get it down, and I got it down in 3. But we both got our surgeries, and it was 7 days apart, so it was both in May of 2010. And I had incredible success. I hit no plateaus. By December, I was almost down to my ideal weight. It was just bloom, 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 bloom down. Now my hubby, on the other hand, he was losing weight so fast, and he felt the loss of muscle, and that scared him. We figured this out later, not at the time, but it scared him, and he was worried about his health, and he started forcing himself to eat. And so it wasn't as effective for him. It was still quite effective. He still lost and kept off 50, 60 pounds, which is, great. And for a while, his diabetes was under control without meds, but over the years it slowly slipped back and his A1C went up. But overall, he did, well, I'd say okay, whereas I did amazing. But unfortunately, in 2012, because of the gastric bypass surgery, I had adhesions, which is a type of scar tissue. And it was partially because of the adhesions, but just also the way my guts were laid out, that my intestines got tangled. And when they got tangled, they cut off, blood flow got cut off to my intestines. So part of my intestines died. And I was in so much pain when I went to the emergency room that I was constantly dry heaving. And at some point, I actually ripped my esophagus and started throwing up blood from the dry heaving, from the pain. So when they did surgery on me, they actually did 2 separate surgeries, 24 hours apart. They put me in a coma, but they disconnected my stomach from my esophagus. They disconnected my stomach from my intestines. They my pouch from the esophagus, my pouch from the intestines. They disconnected the Y limb with the stomach remnant. And they also, I believe, had to disconnect my small intestines from my large intestines. And so they put me in a coma because they disconnected everything. And they took out what they knew was dead, but they wanted to wait 24 hours, go back in, and see what came back to life that they weren't sure about, and cut out whatever else didn't survive. And sew it all back together, and theoretically sew it all back together in a more flat, I know it's inside your gut, but where it wouldn't kink up, like a garden hose. You know, when you roll up a garden hose, if you don't roll it up right, it tends to pop back a certain way. So that's what they said was part of the problem with my intestines. It may have been that way when the surgeon did it, or the adhesions may have caused it. So I was in a coma for 7 days, 9 days, something like that. It's hard for me to remember because I was the one in the coma. And I recovered. This was, like I said, 2012. It was November 2012. And by March 2013, I was eating 3,000 calories a day. I was journaling. I was making sure I was getting food in my mouth, and it all just passed straight through me. So I'm 5'6", and at this point when I had the problem, I was still hovering right at 125 to 130. Well, now, a few months later, even though I'm constantly eating, my weight had dropped down to 95 pounds. And so they said, okay, we need to now put you on IV nutrition. So I was on IV nutrition for almost a year, 11 months. And while I was on IV nutrition, I was still eating. So I didn't stop using my digestive system. I continued to use my digestive system. And it took that long for my digestive system to work enough on its own to be able to feed me. It took 11 months. That's actually a really long time if you think about it. So during this time, I also had to have iron infusions. And I had to have iron infusions for like 4 years. So since then, I've still have challenges of course, keeping my weight up. And my body reacts the opposite to most people who try to lose weight. If I don't eat or I have a problem, the weight just falls off. I don't have that mechanism right now. Maybe it'll come back, where your body goes, oh, starvation mode, stop losing weight, cause a plateau like most people have. My body doesn't do that. So now I've had, I think it'll come back, I've had an ulcer on the seam from the stomach to the small intestines. There's an ulcer there on that seam. And so they say that type of ulcer can be caused because there's less blood flow to the scar tissue. And it could also have to do with the way the remnant stomach is putting acid into the intestines, and maybe it's flowing back up. So they have me on PPIs, proton pump inhibitors. I've been on them for 2 years now, and I take one in the morning and one at night, and they want me pretty much to stay on those for life. I also, about 2 years ago, started taking anti-nausea medicine. It's the same type of medicine they give people that are getting chemo and stuff. I take it 3 times a day, and that has really helped me get my weight up. I was really reluctant, and a few times I've tried to come off of it, and it seems to have kind of built up in my system. So it takes about 2 weeks from when I stop to when I start to see a big difference of, oh, wait a minute, this isn't working. And then of course I have to take the full complements of vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin B12, multivitamin, calcium. I have severe osteoporosis. My T-score was minus 3.9, and the last one was a little bit better. It was minus 3.5. For those of you who know T-score, I have ulcerative colitis. It's an autoimmune that affects the large intestine, where most of my problems are in the small intestine. I get small intestine blockages. I've been in the hospital for it on more than one occasion, so now I have to be really careful about what I eat and what fiber I eat. I've probably missed a few of my challenges, but I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. A surprising thing for me is I started exercising this year after my husband passed away in February, and now I exercise 65 minutes every day, and I have found that I actually gained weight. I was so worried that I would lose weight, but it's been the opposite. Kidney stones. Yes, I got kidney stones, and I've had to have at least one removed. And even right now, I have some kidney issues going on that I'll be going to the doctor for this week, actually. So I want to point out that, again, these are just some of my medical things. I know I've left a few out, but I have a lot of things I'm working with. So it also means I have a lot of knowledge. I used to have sleep apnea. Let's see what else. Well, anyway, lots of stuff. And I have learned to live with it, and I've learned things I can do to help feel better. And I really want to help other people with these challenges. And again, I just get so frustrated when I just hear a constant focus on lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And of course for me, it's eat healthy and gain or maintain my weight. So, but the eat healthy is still there. You know, obviously I don't want to do a diet of just sugar. That's not going to help me at all. So you got to eat healthy, but when you start having a lot of other limitations, it gets a lot harder. So again, this is just a video to tell you a little bit more about me. And yes, I have dogs. Yes, I do. Yes. So thank you for watching.